The whole ball of wax at LaunchpreneurAcademy.com is a $4,000 value that is yours for only $1,499. However, when you apply the code SPRINGRUSH at checkout, that's all one word, SPRINGRUSH, we're going to take another $300 off. That's $4,000 of resources for less than $1,200. The special discount ends April 3rd.
You're now listening to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. Straightforward, no nonsense business advice. Completely unfiltered. Grow your business. Grow your life. Now, here's your host, Brian Fullerton.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast. It is your host, Brian Fullerton, here hanging with you guys, and good morning. Well, first off, if you guys don't know, we've got a special guest here, that's Scott Molchan, hanging out with us from the $1 Million Landscaping Podcast. So, Scott, welcome to the show, brother. How are you doing this morning?
Morning. Thank you for having us on the show. It's awesome. Great to meet you.
Absolutely, man. Well, we're getting to know each other a little bit more, and actually, go figure, and this is how a lot of this stuff works with the networking side of business, is that a lot of you guys have told me to reach out to Scott, and also have told Scott to reach out to me. I think we're both kindred spirits out there on a similar mission with helping people grow more successful businesses, which just gets my blood pumping first thing in the morning, talking about numbers and winning and profit. So, Scott, give me, we just caught on our podcast, like the 2-minute highlight reel, like all the great stuff you guys got going on. Maybe people know you, maybe they don't know you.
Sure.
Can you just get these guys up to speed for a quick minute and let them know who you are, man?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, my name's Scott Molchan. I actually started the landscape business. My dad started the business back in 1988, kind of just worked my way up through, had the ups and downs of like any business owner and struggled, and everything like that. And we found in our business, we really struggled early on with understanding our numbers and understanding what to price our work. We bust our butts all season long. Come the end of the year, we didn't have any money. And we took it upon ourselves a long time ago to kind of learn some things. We joined some networking groups. We got into some different consulting and stuff like that. And we really learned our numbers and really dialed in our business, and it transformed our lives, basically. And so now we're just kind of flipping the script. We want to help others and help others learn their numbers, because we see that's one of the biggest struggles. So my wife and I started the $1 Million Landscaper Podcast about almost 5 years now. And we started our academy. And so basically inside the academy, we teach people their numbers. We go through basically kind of 3 key numbers: our equipment, labor, and overhead, and kind of help you put that all together. We have estimating scripts and templates, I should say, and kind of help you work through for landscaping, lawn maintenance, everything like that. We also do coaching, consulting on this with the business too.
I found this kind of freaky numbers.
Oh, is that Alexa playing?
Yes.
That's funny right there. All good. That's real
Siri
life.
hopped in there. I'm not sure how he sounds on silent, but
You're
anyhow,
always
yes.
listening, Yeah.
But yeah, anyhow, so we just basically help a lot of landscapers now and really understand the numbers, understand the business side of things. That's where we see a lot of landscapers struggle with. So that's what we really love helping people do.
That is really, really cool story. So let me ask you this. Do you guys have it's the $1 Million Landscaper Podcast. Do you have a traditional lawn landscaping business yourself?
So my dad still has the business. I'm actually stepped away from it. Okay. I really want to focus on the academy and helping the people. My dad just sold off part of his business here this fall. We did full design build and commercial lawn maintenance and snow plowing. We just sold off the snow plowing and lawn maintenance side of things. So now we're just doing design build. Cool. He's getting up there in age and he wants to retire, so he's slowing down. So I get it.
It's a young man's game, they say, right? Quote, unquote. Yep. And so you got to definitely figure out your exit strategy and or figure out a way to scale the company, right? So you aren't necessarily out in the field past 40s and 50s, right? But long story short, with knowing your numbers, that's been a buzzword the last couple of years, phrase in the green industry space. Really, to be totally honest, I've seen that translate to other industries. I've got friends in the asphalt industry, cement, industry, concrete industry. Like, it seems like they're all saying the same stuff now. And I wonder if it's just like a renaissance with like small business owners, especially in the trades, because I feel like we're all really good at doing the work. And here's my question to you, Scott. We're all really good at doing the work, but I feel like we've all had a big lens or big spotlight shine on us, maybe during the COVID era, with just PPP loans to getting credit or cash on hand and burn rates, all these different conversations that I just don't think were part of the regular repertoire pre-2019. They personally weren't for me, and it really made me start to dial in even more significantly on my numbers, and I was already kind of on that bandwagon. So what's your guys' mission? What have you seen? What are people doing out there with knowing their numbers? Like, tell me some practical examples even along the way as well. What are you guys noticing out there in the field?
Speaking of like how they're using the numbers and adjusting.
Well, you guys, your personal story was you guys had to get to more intimate with your numbers to really understand what's going on, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of become your mission too with helping others. So were people just not paying attention to their numbers before, or what does that mean, I guess?
Correct. Sure. So yeah, exactly what you said. Yeah. People they get into business. It's relatively easy to get started in this business and you get going. And next thing you know, like I was actually in a coaching call last night and one of the guys like, yeah, I just started a business and I think he said last year, and things just started going and going and going. And he's just not making the money. He's like, I'm busting my butt. I don't have anything in the bank. Where's it going? And that's the biggest thing we see is people just, they're landscapers are some of the hardest working people I know. And they bust their butt and they don't have any money to like buy new equipment. They don't have any money to take care of themselves. They're just out there hustling, and I get it. And you're just trying to go for the next job. Well, a lot of it comes back to not knowing your numbers and not understanding what goes into running your business. That's the biggest thing. Not understanding like the back end costs, the overhead costs, just the lights, all utilities, all those types of things, insurance, and understanding how it goes all together. Understanding equipment costs are huge. Like we see we have a calculator in the academy where a weed eater is costing you $2,000 a year to run. And people are like, no way, the weed eater's only costing you $500, $600, $700, $800, whatever it is. Well, the time you put your heads and maintenance and fuel and everything like that, it's crazy. So it's a huge, huge number of having understanding all those equipment costs. So when people start seeing that, it's like a huge eye opener for them, and they're like, holy cow, okay, now I know these numbers. Well, how do I charge that to the customer? They don't understand the concept because they've never been taught. It's not like you don't learn this in school anywhere. Like even if you go to business school, you don't learn how to use overhead recovery estimating systems.
Sure.
So same thing I was taught years ago on how to do some of this stuff. And I went to a bunch of different classes and trainings and like I said, the consultants. And so now we're teaching that same method that I was taught years ago. So it's really making a big difference in people's lives.
Did you have like a come to Jesus moment, like with knowing your numbers, quote unquote? Did you guys hypothetically do like $500,000 and like you had like $12,000 left over or something wild, like some crazy stories, or what was the catalyst for all this, I guess is my question.
Well, what really hit us was I was working the business. I was actually going to have our first child. And my wife was going to come work for us in the office and help doing some of the admin stuff. And we started looking at the numbers and like, how are we going to afford, myself, because I was vice president at the time, my wife, and take care of a family and my mom and, everybody else. We had 20 some employees. Like, how are we going to afford all this? Because we weren't making money, and we were doing over $1 million a year. So we ended up having a consultant come in, and that was a whole nother story there. But we had a consultant come in, and one of the things they found, we wasted $146,000 in unproductive time just because we didn't have our crap together. But we never knew that because we're just busy working, trying to get to the next job, trying to, this customer's going to come and we're going to make money on it. And that never happened because we didn't understand the back end of things. So when that consultant really hit us with that huge number of $146,000 of just unproductive time, like it was just mainly like the time to get out of the shop in the morning and getting the crews organized and stuff on the jobs. And that hit us as like, holy cow, that's a huge chunk of money right there. So that's what really set us off and really started, okay, we got to learn this. We got to get our crap together.
Now, here's a question, right? Do you see that translate into other people's businesses that you guys have now taken on as clients? Like what, without giving away the farm, because I'm sure you have an academy and it's a very intimate conversation, I'm sure, but what are some glaring, because we only got you for about 20 minutes or so today, which we super appreciate at the time, but what's some like black eyes or some glaring things that you see people having as issues or areas that are low hanging fruit to fix, especially, we're going to be rushing out the door here in 4 to 6, 8 weeks for a lot of us. We don't have all the time in the world to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. But what are some low-hanging fruit, some quick fixes that we could pay attention to this next 7-8 months until we could really, put this thing on, a high octane level?
Yeah. Well, a couple of things is, really start diving into like, what are some of your back end costs? What are those overhead costs that, go in your business? And one of the things we see a lot of people do is they'll go spend a huge chunk of money on advertising. And, there's different people. Some people say no, but anyhow, we see a lot of people, they don't have any budget. They don't understand like how much they should spend. It's like having a personal budget. Basically what you have is just for your business. How much you're going to spend on this, how much you're going to spend on that, and just kind of monitor it. So really understand what goes into the back end of your business and then how to charge your customers for that. A couple of other things is something that we learned personally was just having things organized in the morning, having a schedule, having things set up where your crews know they come in, they go here, they get whatever, the client's folder, grab the phone, whatever it is, however your procedure is, and having it organized. They know, okay, I need to get this material, this person's coming with me, I'm taking this truck, this piece of equipment, whatever it is, and they have it all together. Like one of the biggest things I did when I first started was I implemented just a simple equipment checklist. Like I said, we had 20 some people when I started really taking over as a vice president, and I just made a simple equipment checklist, like literally it was shovels, rakes, brooms. And I just went on every single job, check, handed to the crew leader and said, here, go load this up. Because we were going back and forth. Oh, I forgot the side cutter. Hey, can you bring this out? I forgot this, or I forgot gas, all the normal stuff. And when you start having that many employees, that really, really adds up. And if you can start small, even if you have 1 employee, 2 employees, start that procedure now. That when you start to grow, you start to progress, you already have those systems in place and it just plays out. That's just how you do things here. When you start having those large people, it's a hard change to get people. We've always done it this way. Well,
sure. So let me ask you this. So there's kind of 2 conversations I feel that happen in business, especially as it continues to grow. It's not like things get sloppy by design. It's like things just kind of unravel because you're trying to be in so many places at once. And in that growing phase, you don't have all the attention on every single thing because you're still building the infrastructure, obviously. And so, in your opinion, what's more debilitating for most business owners? Is it the 2x4 across the head, like we bought a skid steer that the company wasn't ready for? Or is it like the death by 1,000 paper cuts? Like, is it a little bit of A or a little bit of B or both? And no, I'm not, trying to steer you one way, but what have you noticed out there for most people?
It varies. We see it on both ends. We see people that are just want to go, they want that equipment. Everybody loves a new piece of equipment, so they'll go spend the money and then they don't really have the work to back it up, or they don't know how to get to that work. So we see both sides of that. I'd say more often than not, we see it just people just don't understand all the things that go into the business and what needs to happen next. And like you said, they're just busy putting out fires all day and is running from this to this to this. We've had people in the academy come to us crying because they didn't know what to do next, and like they're literally taking money out of their own personal bank account to make payroll and stuff because they didn't know what to do. The one was literally just took over a business from somebody else. They bought it, didn't really know what goes into it, understand it. So it goes both ways. We see both sides of things. So a lot of it, a lot of landscapers like the toys. I do know that. So
no, and that's one thing that people always like. Well, hey, how much is your truck, or what's your payment, or what's your terms, or we actually, go figure, we built a calculator. If I would have knew you guys built something, I would have just plugged yours 6 months ago. But I built a know your numbers profitability and cash flow calculator. That's what we call it, and it's been a game changer. We've had dozens of people already downloading it. It's only been out for like 2 weeks. Nice. It is changing the game. It's now, if you have Element and Synced Up and some of the larger softwares, right? You can have these budgets built in. Yep. But if you're using simpler software, I use Yardbook, love Yardbook. They're a sponsor on our YouTube channel. Jobber is another great CRM out there, for example, but they don't have these day-to-day budgets. And so the reason we did it out of necessity was putting this budgeting and cash flow calculator together was it should be a 30 minutes exercise to at least get a 50,000 square foot view of what's going on in your company versus just throwing darts out there. So let me relate that story to you guys. Like, you guys came from, you wanted to have your, I believe, wife, right, be a stay-at-home mom or raise the kids and be full-time business owner. Like, what was that experience like when you got a hold on your numbers and you got your her financial freedom with the business. Like, was that worth the struggle, the pain, the sacrifice, the getting deep on those numbers, even though maybe it wasn't fun or pretty? Like, is that freedom story worth it? Like, was that worth the grind for you guys to figure all this stuff out?
Oh yeah, no, it was a huge thing. Because she was able to take some time off. Like I said, she came to work with us, and then when she had the baby, she was able to stay home and take care of the baby and raise our child. And she came back into the business, but we were able to buy a home because we were able to start paying ourselves what we needed to pay ourselves. Like you see a lot of landscapers, and we did it ourselves. My mom was she was a full-time secretary. She was making like $13,000 a year, like because she couldn't afford it. She's like, well, we had to pay our employees, Right. That's all good. I'm like, not saying don't pay your employees, but you have to take care of yourself. You can't take care of yourself, whether it's personally, mentally, financially, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just going to struggle and get burned out. So that was a huge change for us when we started actually being able to have money to just pay ourselves. And like, we weren't taking like huge salaries or anything, but just pay ourselves modestly at an average salary was a huge game changer for us. And like I said, we're able to build a home and just be able to enjoy life and go on vacation. Those were nice things. My dad never took a vacation. Well, we grew up on a farm, but he would never take a vacation. And like, Dad, you're going to get burned out. And then it started hitting him. So once we're able to start doing that, we're able to just start to enjoy life a little bit more. We never grew, like we never wanted to become a big company. We call ourselves a $1 million landscaper because we stay between, on average, we stay between $1 to $2 million. And that's where we stayed there for, I mean, we're still in that area for 20 plus years, 30 plus years, just because we know it and we're comfortable with it. We're able to make a good living off it. And it just worked for us. So, just having that time, putting that time is the biggest thing. I can't stress it enough to learn those numbers. Get in grab your cash flow chart.
Amen to that. And I'll tell you, anybody who's ever listened to my content from podcast to YouTube, I have a friend of mine, Mike Bedell, and he grew up this way. His family, kind of quote unquote came from the other side of the tracks. And his dad was very successful in a company as a number 3 guy. This was like regular conversation, and then add about 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros on the end of their numbers, right? And so it was, when we plus or minus 1% on something, it's $100. When they have a variance of 1%, we're talking tens of millions, right? And so you can't afford those kind of mistakes. And so he was always a data-driven dude, and I really respect that because I think, and I'm just going to talk frank, like I think a lot of us, like you were talking about earlier, Scott, we're really good at being technicians. But technician being good at mowing or fertilization or landscaping, like it doesn't automatically, right, make you a good entrepreneur or business owner. And I think that's the conversation that it goes one level deeper when we say know your numbers, right? All guys are like, man, I'm a great business owner. I cut the lawns every week, 29 weeks straight. We sling mulch 2 inches depth, perfect invisible edge. Like, I get it, but you got to hear what we're really saying is, how did you do on that last job? Did you do a job autopsy and see where those numbers actually were, right? And I think that's the passion project that I have. That's the passion project that you have. We have some mutual friends, Cycle CPA, Andy Mulder, a bunch of other great folks out there, and we're just realizing like we're all in this together, saying the same thing. So that's why I wanted to just get you on the show for a quick minute this morning and let everybody know. I love doing this, as I say at the top of my lungs, like, hey, there's more great people out there. There's more great resources. Press in. This stuff is arguably for free. And then, if you want to go down the rabbit hole and, see what other people have to offer, then even better, right? So where can, just to respect your time, and we only got a couple minutes left, but where can people find you? Do you guys have a podcast or a website or a live event? I don't even know, but tell more about this stuff if you can. Please, for the love of God.
No, I appreciate that. So we do have a Millionaire Landscaper podcast. It comes out every Friday. We've been doing it for about, April will be 5 years. So check that out.
By the way, hold on, time out. By the way, congratulations on that. That's huge.
Thank you.
Okay. Like, that's a commitment. So you guys aren't just here to be influencers and make a buck, like you're passionate about this. Okay. I had to interrupt because some people don't understand, like 5 years of like weekly shows, that's a commitment, brother. So like, for real, congratulations at that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's awesome. I love doing it. I love just sharing the information. So yeah, every week we have that. But we also have our Millionaire Academy. It's in our program. It's a month-to-month basis program. You can sign up. We have basically two different tiers. The lower tier, you can kind of come in, do it yourself. It's all videos and templates. Everything's in there. It's pretty much everything that we had in our business. It's open for you. And then we have our higher tier, which is still the same stuff, but then you have more one-on-one time with me. You have then we also have like group coaching calls that happen every week, and then every month we have a live Q&A. So like last night we had our live Q&A. You come in, chat with not just me, but everybody else that hops in there. So it's always a great time and great group of
That's awesome
there. So yeah.
I love that, man. Well, again, it's just another resource out there. If you're struggling, if you're confused, Lord knows I was at for about 11 years, which is about 9 or 10 years longer than I needed to be, Scott. But we didn't have access to stuff like this. I didn't know what I didn't know. I 5 years ago is when I met my friend Mike, and my gosh, like I could not even imagine where my life would be today without him, or wouldn't be without him, if that makes sense, right? Like it's night and day difference. And it's not, he didn't teach me how to sling mulch better, right? He didn't teach me how to like mow straighter stripes, right? And one thing I say all the time on our podcast and YouTube, and it kind of, this is the only part that breaks my heart on YouTube, is like, I wish videos like this or conversations like these got the 100,000 views, right? Like these always get 1,500 views on my channel, quote unquote. And at the end of the day, like buying the coolest new mower isn't going to make you necessarily more profitable. We can have conversations about equipment. I'm all about that. But what helped my wife to be a stay-at-home wife, the home that we're about to build, the barn, the cars, the whatever, just a better quality of life. That all came from being intimate with knowing our numbers. And I'll tell you what, it was the, if I could just be like as real as possible, it was like the most physically tough part of Liz and I's last 5 or 6 years together, because it was so revealing. We were immature. We didn't know what we didn't know. It was ugly. And there's a great story out there. Like Liz was like, I don't want to hire bookkeepers. They're going to know what we make. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure people can tell what we make anyway. We live in a 700 square foot apartment. Like we were millionaires, low key. You know what I'm saying? Like living below our means. No, we were broke. And so, but I'll tell you what, the transformation 5 years later, now Liz is like, hey, look at our books, look at our books, look at our books, you know? And I want people to have that same confidence and proudness, I guess, whatever you want to call it, of just being mature with your numbers and being like, hey, I can pull up QuickBooks anytime. I can talk to Cycle CPA and they can talk with me and I feel confident. And so any which way, anything that you want to add on that? But if not, I just got to say, great job of what you guys are doing, man. This needs to be more of this out there in the community.
Oh, we appreciate everything you do too for the community. It's awesome to see everything you do, the academy and everything else you have going on. But no, one last thing I will say just for everybody, don't be embarrassed about things. Don't be embarrassed. If you're struggling, don't make that hold you back from reaching out to Brian or myself or whoever to ask for help. But somebody local, reach out. I personally reached out to a local concrete company that was doing well just to help learn more early on. So don't be afraid. Don't let that hold you back. You can change, you can make a difference in your life. And I guarantee it will once you start understanding your numbers.
Amen to that. Yeah, well said. Amen to that. So Fridays for the podcast, and then do you guys have a YouTube channel, or is this okay?
Yeah, we do have a YouTube channel. I just mainly put the podcast out there, and then we also do some things here and there, some live events here and there as well. So
cool.
We'll be pushing out the class here pretty soon on knowing your numbers. So check that out. We'll be doing workshops on YouTube. So hop in those if you want to learn more. We're going to be doing reviews of what estimates, I should say. So hop in. It's all free. So.
Dude, amen to that, brother. No, for real. And again, like this is going to be the conversation for 2023 on my podcast and all of our YouTube content. It's been real, authentic lawn care. We're helping you guys grow real businesses. Our business grew over $100,000 in gross revenue and significantly more in profit. Okay. So I've been telling people, we didn't just raise rates 10% and like made 10% more. You know what I'm saying? Like we're growing. Our overhead has shrunk because we're paying off debt. We're getting more structured, more streamlined. We're growing. Like we're growing our company. And I couldn't be more honest that I love what we do. I love doing all this with you guys out there. And so as kumbaya as it sounds, Scott, we're all in it together.
Yep.
And I love what you said towards the beginning of the show. Like we all work too hard to quote unquote give it away for free. And so if you want to bring your wife home and be a stay-at-home mom, or buy a new car for the family and you wonder, where does this money come from? Well, you're sitting on it. Okay. It's in your own business. You just got to learn how to run it like a real company. So, Scott, that's That's my rant, brother. I can't thank you enough for your time, and keep doing what you guys are doing. And I'm hoping to maybe we'll get you back on, and we'll get you to more into. We'll get a little bit more intimate on knowing your numbers. What does that mean? Maybe we can break some things down in a future show. What do you think?
Sounds all right. I'd love to have you on our show too. So.
Awesome, brother. Well, cool deal. All right. Well, thank you so much. All right, guys. Well, we'll button up right here. Thanks for watching, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, don't forget the big thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this. And then if you guys are watching on the podcast, don't forget to hit follow in the top right corner so you guys get notified anytime we have a new podcast dropping on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But guys, thanks again for watching. You guys have a great rest of the day, and we'll catch up with you on the next one.
New program alert. The How to Get New Lawn Care Customers training program is now available. If you guys have ever struggled at acquiring new customers or are looking to grow your lawn care business, then this new program might just be for you. Looking to learn the best tactics to develop a successful postcard marketing campaign? We got you covered. Have you ever wondered how to use social media to exponentially grow your business and dominate the competition? We got that too. Whether you're just getting started in business or you're a seasoned vet, there's something for everyone in this new program available now, exclusively at L'Entrepreneuracademy.com.
Hi, I'm Mr. Producer, and one more thing. If you're looking to stay up to date with the latest trends and insights in the world of lawn care, then you need our free email newsletter. It's delivered 3 times a week and includes a Monday motivational to kick off your week, a Wednesday what's new to keep you informed, and a Friday weekly recap of all the content we put out. Join our mailing list to stay connected to the world of lawn care and get exclusive access to the latest and greatest from Fullerton Unfiltered and Brian's Lawn Maintenance. Don't miss out on this opportunity to stay ahead of the curve and elevate your lawn care game. Sign up now with the link we've provided in the show description.
Thanks for taking the time to listen to the Fullerton Unfiltered podcast with Brian Fullerton. We hope you enjoyed this production. If so, please consider leaving us a 5-star review for the show. While the techniques and ideas presented here are designed to help you grow a more successful and profitable business, no one can guarantee these results for you. We want to emphasize that entrepreneurship is not easy, and the ideas presented here are just the opinions of Brian Fullerton and his respective guests. No one can guarantee success for you. That being said, we hope the ideas presented here help you and motivate you to go on out there and crush it with your own business.
Fullerton Unfiltered Podcast.
Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you on the next episode.
This has been a Brian Fullerton and Mr. Producer production.